Hello traders, it's Samurai Trader here. Welcome to this session 148. I've decided to split this session into part 1 and part 2, and the reason being I was putting this PowerPoint together and doing some live trading, and as I was doing that there's so much more I want to share with you, and particularly on my philosophy of scalping the market. And I want to show you in great detail where I come up, the logic behind what I do. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that in 30 minutes, so I'll split it into 2 sessions. Now traders, don't skip this, because I'm going to be talking to you about the high probability, the easy money trades that I select, but also the markets I trade and why I trade those markets, and targets, and a whole lot more. So stay with me. So as always traders, there is a risk in trading. I need to pull up the disclaimer: don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose. Now the foundation of this video was to be purely on the ES, and I've got a number of live trading videos I want to show you of me actually executing the trades and managing the trades, but we're going to take a slight detour as I show you some handouts, some other things that'll give you clarity when it comes to your trading. You see, when you've got clarity, it allows you to put in place a plan of action, allows you to put in place your trading plan. So let's get stuck into this, and I promise you, if you're serious about a day trading career, this will probably be one of the most important training sessions you ever watch. Okay, so I trade the ES probably about 50 to 60% of the time now. You need to have a certain amount in your account to do this. If you don't have, say for an example, $4,000, you can trade the micro contract. So on the big contract, the ES is $50 a point, or $12.50 a tick, or $5 a point, or $1.25 on the micro. Now when it comes to trading, you've got many options now. This is from NinjaTrader. It's just some of the markets you can trade with them, so you've got a fantastic selection of markets. Now what I'm looking for in a market, I'm looking for a market with great volume, good daily average trading range. I'm looking for a market that gives me the trading waves, as you'll see when we get to the charts in a moment, and one where I don't get a lot of slippage. That is, if you get a market that's thinly traded, that is not a lot of traders, you get a lot of slippage. That is, you don't always get the price that you want. Now this is where I want to really drill down, because this is the make or break for a lot of traders. So this would be a game changer for 97% of the population. If you could earn, and say $1,000 a day, even in this case part-time, as I'll show you in a moment how I do it. Now for $5,000 for most people would change their life forever. Now I want you to drop your skepticism. It's okay, you can verify later, but I want you to be open-minded to the possibility, because I can show you day after day after day where I do this, but I'm going to explain how and why, not some wishy-washy trust me. I'll show you in the recordings how I do this. Now this is important, and I'll just jump to this slide for a moment. If you've already subscribed to my channel, if not, please do, so you can be kept up to date with my videos. But back in 2017, one of my members sent me an email talking about the movie Moneyball, and it was about a failing baseball team. And normally when you're playing baseball, of course you want to have that home run ideally, and the concept in Moneyball was just get on base. That is, even if it's a small scalp, at least you're in the green. And so that's sort of my philosophy when it comes to scalping and day trading. That is, get in, get out, get paid. Easy money trades. For one of the trades today, for an example, the one that really motivated me to go into this a little more with you, was I was in it for 10-15 minutes, and we had to be very patient. I was almost going to pull the pin on the trade, but once again I had a fixed target. We got in and got out. But as we go through my trades, you'll see I'm not going for those trades that last an hour or two. You've got to have much generally larger stop losses, the risk is higher, etc. So let me start to give you a trading plan that almost anyone could achieve if you follow the rules. Of course, there's always a risk in trading. What it comes down to though is minimizing the risk through trading the right strategies for right time frame. We don't want to be going in a market that's going like that. We want a sensible time frame, and following the trading rules, having a proven mechanical trading strategy. You'll see that mostly I'm looking for that $200 to $500 a day per contract traded. Most days now I'm after $2,000 however a day. However, you can get there over time. Now the strategies that I'm about to point out also very important. You can apply to any market, whether it be futures, forex, or stocks. Now the strategies I'm also about to show you, you can either scalp, day trade, or swing trade. The only thing you need to change is the time frame. Once again, we don't want to be trading a time frame that's too slow. So what I want to do is just quickly show you some trades that I took today, and just to run through those, because these were it was just normal trading. For an example here, at the start of the day, I wasn't even recording. I had a training class to present to some of my members, and so just getting some trades off before that session. Now if you look down the bottom, you'll see here this is at 17:14. that is, I love trading the Globex session, the after hours market, and the reason for that is the market's generally, not always, generally a lot slower than say trading during the New York hours, and that suits me, my trading style. Plus I'm down under. So at 1700 hours, that's 9 a.m. my time, and so the market closes at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it reopens at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sorry, I'm getting my time frames mixed up. Down under, got to remember the American time frames are very different. 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern, the market closes for an hour. Then it reopens at 5 p.m. Central, or 6 p.m. Eastern. I've got it right now. Now there's markets like the ES, even though it's after hours, you can get some fantastic trading volume, some really good trades in, and the second bit here I actually recorded, which I'm going to go through and just briefly show you this before I get to the main presentation that I was going to do, and that'll be part B or part 2. And the reason being, I wanted to show you some handouts, and what's important is show me a man or a woman with a compelling future, and I'll show you one that's got a really good chance of succeeding as a day trader if they follow the basic rules. Now it comes down to also then gaining clarity, which I spoke about. It's knowing exactly what you want. Now you'll see here that with the markets that I trade, I like the ESNQ, I like the Russell in the New York afternoon. What else? We got gold. I like oils, great. Now you can only trade so many markets, and I recommend that say you become a specialist, and say with the ES you could just trade that the rest of your life and focus on that. But what's important is also having trading goals that may stretch you a little, but that are realistic, that you can hit and achieve. Now for an example, one of the markets I love are the currency futures, and the currency futures market, which I won't go too much into in this session, is $6.25 a tick, and you get some fantastic trading volumes even during the Globex session. The euro, the yen, both 6.25 a tick, and if you go for 16 net ticks a day, that's after any commissions and after any losses. look where you are. Basically you're down here with the potential of 10,000 a week within 14-15 weeks. The potential, legally I've got to say that, and you've got fantastic volume. It's achievable. Now the question is how and how many trades. So to achieve that here, we would need, on average, if we go for 5 ticks, just a small scalp, 4 net trades a day. Let me show you the next one. The next one here is if we go, say, and go for 22 ticks a day, just stretch our target a little bit, go for 6 trades a day. Within 10 weeks we've got our 10 grand a week potential, our capital's 38,000. This is a reality of trading this market. Now I won't go into the charts on this market today because we'll never get the video done. Let me show you another one. What I'm trying to show you here is a number of options that you have when it comes to trading. Now you can get going now scalping and day trading realistically with as little as $400. Yes, I know the brokers will say that you can start with $50, but forget that. Okay, that's just not realistic, and the reason being your stop loss might be $10 to $20, and so therefore that wipes out your capital very, very quickly. But I want to show you this because we're going to be looking at this. The ES 1 tick Renko, you can only trade the 1 tick realistically during the after hours market, the Globex market. So forget during the New York hours, you're going to have to jump up to a 2 or a 4 tick. But anyway, $250 a day with a $4,000 account, okay, 20 net ticks. Within 9 weeks we've got that 10 grand a week potential. Within 12 weeks at 20,000 a week. How? We need 4 6-step scalps, which I'll show you exactly what I'm looking for in a few minutes with that. And look at that return. Now this will set you financially free for life, potentially. Once again, it's not the setups that'll let you down. I'll show you 100 of them, okay, and I'll show you a lot in a moment and why they kick butt. And you know what, there's nothing magical about them. You know, I still see indicators being sold for thousands of dollars that are usually nothing more than a re-engineered indicator available on virtually any trading platform. I'll explain that when we get to the recording in a moment. But what I want to show you here, go for 4 6-step scalps, and that's $250 a day. You're set for life. Let's look at another one. Say if you want to be more conservative, okay, actually this one is not the conservative one. Is that over here? No, I didn't even bother bringing one up. The one, look, I was going to show you the 1 tick with only 16 ticks a day rather than the 20, which is $200 a day, and you're still there in 12 weeks, your 10,000 a week income. But anyway, if you're trading a 2 tick, for an example, the start of the market today was fairly fast there for a few minutes, so I was trading a higher time frame, which usually means you've got a larger stop loss. Now if we're trading the 2 tick, which is a happy medium between the 1 and the 4, that is, the 4 is quite slow during the after hours market and you need a much larger account to trade it correctly, and the 1 tick, which is going to be too fast quite often, you trade the 2. And in this particular case we're going for 26 net ticks a day, and we've got our 10 grand a week income in 8 to 9 weeks. That's 4 7-step scalps or 5 6-step scalps. I'll show you exactly what I mean. And last of all, if you trade the NQ, fantastic trading range, okay. I've got 2 names for the NQ: the nasty NAS, because it can be mighty nasty when it whips back on you, and the nifty NAS, because it can be fantastic in giving you these waves. Look where you are, and on a $5,000 account, once again, 9 weeks, you're 10 grand a week. And just to mention this, you can actually click on what would it be, a button below, an icon below, and you can download my spreadsheet here, and I've even got a training video for it, so you can download that. And how this works is you only start trading a second contract every time you double your money. Now this is the true no BS approach to trading. You start off with, say in this particular case, 5,000. If you don't have 5,000, you start on a micro with 500, and once you double your money, you start trading 2 contracts and 3. That's what this does. Now also, you might choose to be a prop trader. That is, there are literally a dozen firms I can name now where once qualified, once you get past their evaluation, you can start trading their money. Effectively, what you're doing, traders, is leasing a $50,000 trading account for a fixed cost of anywhere from $50 to $150 a month, and you can trade multiple $50,000 accounts, as many of my members are now doing. So even if you don't have the capital, there are literally a dozen good solid companies where you can go and trade with them. Now let me just show you this video just here, the one that sort of had me thinking, okay, I might just extend this and go in depth a little more on what exactly I'm looking for. This is the 1 tick ES, and actually before we get there and even play that, let me just show you this just here. So this is where we are today. Okay, so and you just had another setup there, or even there. I want you to notice here my turning point arrows. See those arrows? See the white paint bar? That's my super scalper. So there are multiple reasons. Each one of these lines is an entry that everyone should be able to pick easily after an hour or two of training. Okay, we've got code names for all of these, but if we just go back here, you'll just see here all of these just here were all potential entries. Now I believe in what I call POQ, the power of quitting. That is getting in, getting out, get paid. That works for me. Now if you're a young gun, you might choose to, I'm 66, you might choose to, nearly a couple of weeks away, you might choose to then go for much larger targets. But I like that sort of 250 to 350 per contract, but I'm trading 10 lots as well. Now in this particular case, in a matter of, now this was over in about 14-15 minutes, I think 37, look, that was about 25 minutes there, plus I had 2 other trades. Okay, I'm up 23.38, 233 per contract. And if we go to the 2 tick chart, this is where the market had been opened 8 minutes. By the way, I don't trade for the first 5 minutes. Here are 2 plain vanilla entries. Now I may as well just give you a couple of trading tips here. First of all, see that white dot? We call that, well, I call it a T20, a potential reversal, and down I go. These are called pivots. I've got Camarilla pivots and standard floor pivots, and this is yesterday's high. As professionals, we sell and buy into these levels each and every day. Easy to learn, they plot automatically. It ain't rocket science, trust me, it's really not. It's a matter of learning these patterns. Now price came down. For members watching this, this was actually a little T3, would have been a nice little scalp, and I didn't short this trade here because I had all these pivots, and I did take this trade because I had what I call a 2D. I had double divergence, but it actually hit 500 on 10 contracts, but I got out literally at break even. And then the rest is history. That is, later on I jumped up to the 1 tick, or I dropped down and traded the 1 tick because the market had slowed down. Now I want you to note the turning point there, the arrow, arrow, arrow. Now what that means is, excuse me, I'm in on the close of the next candle. Okay, but what you can see here, now I know that Renko means brick, I just call them candles, but what you can see there is you had 1, 2, 3, 4 potential trades in that time. You had this one just here, legitimate trade entries. These are trades that basically everyone with an hour or two of trading should, or training should start to, okay, now I get it. So let's just have a quick look at this recording for a moment, because I want to just explain my way of thinking when I trade. So first of all, I've taken this trade here. I've based upon, this is called basically a T10 T2, and when you trade a 1 tick chart, which is what we've got here on the ES, means I've only got a stop of maximum of 6 ticks, which is $75 or $7.50 on the micro. Now here in this case, I'm after 8 ticks, which is $100 per contract. Now generally I will scalp 6 ticks, because you hit 6 ticks so easy in these moves. Here today I was after a slightly larger move. Now what I am going to do is move this along a little, so we can just, because here we go, just because it goes for 10-15 minutes. Now we could have actually re-entered just here, or taken a trade there. If we weren't in here where we've actually entered the market, we could actually take another one. But let me just move this along, traders. Okay, so just here my stop is 1 tick above. As I mentioned, I'm after 8 ticks, and it actually gave me a hard time here. And if you just saw that just there, see what I'm doing? I'm checking out where are the pivots. And because the reason, as I mentioned earlier, they become price magnets and then major support resistance areas. Now we hit, actually tagged 6 ticks. As I mentioned, in this case I'm after 8. Now I also knew I had a very good chance of rolling over and heading down. Normally speaking, I would go to break even plus 1 tick at this stage. I don't want to give anything back. However, this was and I won't go into all the reasons, but this is a very high probability trade. So we're and this goes on for a while. We go up and down, and you'll actually see this, and if I remember correctly, was it this trade here? I think it was, yes. See how it then came up and tested my stop right to the tick. So remember, my stop is 1 tick above the swing, and I've got an 8 tick stop, sorry, 6 tick stop, 8 tick target. Traders, my videos are all real and unedited, so you'll have to excuse me if I fluff anything up here. Okay, so now we're on the way down. Now you had another re-entry just here, and you had another one just here, and if you wanted to add to your position, you can. Now when it comes to adding to a position, we never ever risk any more than 2% in an open position. This is why you need that $4,000 to trade the big contract, because $75 plus your commission, that's $80. That's 2%, and that just spiked down and stopped me out with at the target. So what's important is your account size because of risk management. So many traders keep blowing their account because they're risking far too much. They've got into this cycle, this loop of risking. They blow their account, add it up again, put more money in. Oh, I'm a couple of grand short, but I'll risk 7% and keep my fingers crossed. Traders, you're just going to keep blowing your account. Unless you're already a profitable trader, start off and follow the money management rules, which means we never risk any more than 2%. And if you're going to add to a position, okay, once again that goes towards 2%. Now in my case, and here I haven't added, but I don't risk any more than 1%, but that allows me to add. If you're, most traders will risk 2. Even if you do get another great potential entry, it means you can't add to that. There is a technique where you can, by the way, if you're already in the green, that is, if you're already really in profit, then you can add, but that's another story for another time. But on the way down here, Okay, now I've hit my target. I've ended up today 2,338.10 in front, and that's the end of my live trading for today. But let's just move this along. And what I did here, I took a scalp. Let me explain this trade. This is really interesting. The trade I'm about to take here, it's called a pivot magnet trade. Pivot magnet trades are a good 80-85%. It's when we're selling down into a pivot. Now this is challenging because sometimes you can sell into a pivot and you bounce straight off, other times you'll go straight through. So what I like to do when I go down to a pivot, I like to get to break even or lock some profit in case I bounce. So I'm just pointing the pivot out just there, and down below I'm still targeting 8 ticks, because sometimes you'll just smash through the pivot. Now see what I'm doing there? I'm getting ready to go to break even as soon as I hit the pivot. Now I've hit it. I lock in 1 tick, and I think in a minute I lock an extra tick in as well. I think I go for 1 more tick, and the reason being, quite often we will bounce here, and we'll see in a moment. We'll go back to the live charts and actually see what happens. So now I'm out of it, and look at that. Okay, so let me just go back a little. Let me go back, and this is a classic reason why I will get to break even. Traders, these are all mechanical trades. Every one of these here are patterns, and as Mark Douglas said from The Disciplined Trader, if you want to master the art of day trading, what you want to do is start with one strategy that's a pattern, not one that's mathematical, but one that is a pattern. Likewise, all of these. Now what I've done is I've coded, if you've got NinjaTrader, I've coded a lot of these, all of these indicators. You can see the dots, the white paint bar. I've also got them for TradeStation, the super scalper, and for anyone else I give you the indicator settings that I use. So basically any good charting platform, you can now set and model how I trade. Now in the end, one of the key factors here is, if I got it here, is it down here? I think where is it? No, it's on that other slide. Let me just quickly show you this as well. This is a slide from 𝗧𝗿𝗰𝗆𝗺. He's written a lot of books on scalping and whatever. As he points out here, some great scalpers win 90% of the time. And if you go and watch my videos day after day, you see I'm generally up in that 80 to 90% ratio. And how? All based upon patterns. That's all I'm trading, is trading patterns. So I think we'll finish this video here, but before we do, traders, what I want you to realize is that this is not rocket science. Virtually anyone can do this. All you've got to be doing is applying your discipline and patience and be willing to learn. So traders, if you haven't already, you can click on the link below and get my Excel spreadsheet. Make sure you download my ebook also, The Truth About Day Trading. Better still, why don't you become one of my members? Now stay with me a minute, because I'm about to show you something which is probably the best of the best you'll find when it comes to day trading and scalping mastering. Subscribe to my channel as well, but for $297 you get all of my indicators, all the indicator settings, hundreds of hours of training videos. You don't need to watch them all. Okay, there's live trading sessions. One thing I didn't get into is I was going to run through with you the Excel spreadsheet, how many trades a day you will need to hit your target, and then funds required. I've got all of these done for members. So what it means is, when it comes to clarity, for an example, let's just do this very quickly. So if you wanted to net 250 a day on the ES, okay, so let's be sensible here. So if our commission is say $5 and the tick value, and let's just say here I'm running on the 1 tick, So it means on the 1 tick I've only got a 6 tick stop and I'm after a 6 tick target. I'm looking to net 250 a day. I've got a 75% 30% win-loss ratio. I need to execute for losses and wins 10 trades a day. Now let's now jump that up to 75 25 just by improving your win-loss ratios marginally. Now I'm down to 8 trades a day. I won't take that up any further, but if you're trading what we call the 2Bs and the 34 Bs and pivot magnet trades, which you saw me execute one and you saw how it bounced off the pivot, okay, 8 trades a day. And the reason that's important is that, okay, on average 8, then you focus just on one good trade at a time. So all of these tools are included now in the members area, and this is important. So what are you getting for $297? Well, you're getting my entire program with lifetime access. Lifetime, it doesn't expire. There are hundreds of handouts. There's 38 PowerPoints now. There's dozens of video, hundreds of hours, from trading plans through to trading strategies. There's just a ton of material there. Now what I also offer is in the $297 I'll allow you to attend 1 month of my coaching sessions. Now with my coaching sessions, I'm going through trades step by step. I'm covering everything from money management through to teaching members step by step how to scalp and day trade the markets. You're able to type in questions as we go along. If you can't attend the live sessions, they are recorded. You've got lifetime access to those. So effectively in the $297 you're getting 16 hours of private coaching in a group. Now in that group at the moment, for an example, and this is February 2026, I have 274 registered members that attend. I've also then got separately a live trading room. So this is the very reason why you should be listening and joining me as a member. This is what I do full-time. I'm a full-time day trader, but also a coach, and I've been trading now for 28 years. What does that all mean for you? I can save you a great deal of time, money, and frustration. So traders, if you're after these sorts of results, for an example, this was a training session I was going to be running. This will be part 2, by the way. And in this case, that was a trade, that could have been a trade, so could have that one here. I took this one for a scalp and I took this one. So out of that there, I think that was 4 for 4 there, and I wasn't there. I should have been in that one, by the way. But we don't have to take them all. What we've just got to be is consistent. That's critical to our trading. So traders, why don't you click on the link below, come and join me, and let me teach you how to scalp and day trade the markets. So you'll find the link to join down below, and traders, I'll hopefully see you on one of my training sessions. So this was part 1.